Hi, welcome to Designer Discussions. Today we are going to talk about a recap of our 2021, some of our favorite topics, some of our favorite episodes, some of our favorite guests, and all of the things that we've learned and what we want to give to our audience.
Welcome to the Designer Discussions podcast. Tune in each week where we discuss marketing, branding, PR, and business advice for design professionals.
And I do think we all need to say, who is your favorite? Which one so far is your favorite?
Oh, I already know mine. That's
I don't know. I have a lot of favorites.
Okay. So which one is your favorite episode?
Great question, Maria. For me, it's episode 21. And there's a couple reasons why episode 21 meant a lot to me. One, that episode we had Troy on, and you'll see the interplay that we had. It was like talking to my brother. And we were joking a lot. We were having a lot of fun, but he dropped a lot of knowledge as well. But another reason episode 21 meant a lot to me is because that cast our podcast into the top 1% of podcasts globally. And I read a report and some stats that blew my mind. So in July of this year, they said of the 2 million podcasts, when you podcast, you're not actually competing with 2 million. If you get to episode 21, you're only competing with 20,000. And he explained that of the 2 million podcasts out there, 90% of those podcasts drop off. They stop after 3 episodes. Of the rest, 90% of those stop after 20 episodes. So you're only competing with 20,000 if you get to 21 episodes. So that's why episode 21 meant a lot to me, because of who we had on and also because of what it meant for us in this space. You need to talk about the episode that you like, Mirjam.
Okay. I'm thinking, it's actually an impossible question to answer for me, because it's sort of like when people say, well, which one of your children do you love the most? And I would say it depends on the day, actually, to that question. But in terms of the podcast episodes, I honestly, I do not have a favorite, but I like them all. And I especially like the ones where and selfishly, it's like, we're not just doing this to share information and education with our listeners, but I'm like, I have learned so much over the course of this year, from both of you guys, Jason and Maria, and from our guests. I'm like, I have a million times better understanding of the business of interior design than I did at the beginning of this past year. And I have been working in this space for a very long time, but we have so much intricate and valuable information that is shared on the podcast on so many different topics that I don't know. I seriously, I have to say I love them all, because I do think they're all super valuable, and every guest that comes on has their point of view and their area of expertise that they share, and so do each one of us. So I think my favorite is the overall package of it, and the value that it provides, hopefully for our listeners and for me as a person and my personal growth in this business as well.
Well, I can tell you that the most recent episode is always my favorite. I have been so delighted with all of the people we've been interviewing, and we have so many coming down the pipeline that it just gets better. And a lot of them we're going high level on because they are heavy topics and they can seem overwhelming, and we don't want to overwhelm anyone. But we're hoping that you are growing alongside of us and that you will tolerate deeper and deeper conversations about specific topics as we go, and that we will continue to have our next best episode. So keep with us, because this is what our goal is. It's to help you grow your business while we are growing and changing and growing our own businesses alongside of you. So I think the next episode is always our best episode.
Great answer. Great answer. That's a cop-out answer, but that's a great answer. But I would just like to take this time to thank all of our listeners out there that have spent the time just to write. And I'm going to read a few of the testimonials because I've been blown away by the support. And it's just been humbling to me. We hear from designers all the time that say they love this podcast. And when we began, it was really just to help our audience and provide good information. And I've just been blown away by the support. To read just a few of the testimonials, this is from Elizabeth Helen of Elizabeth Helen Design. She said, if you are in the trade, you need to follow this podcast. Short, sweet, and informative. Have your notes in hand, as their tips will be of major help in your design business. Thank you, Maria, Jason, Mirjam, for your powerful podcast. That was just one of them. You know, another one that actually means a lot to me, because this is from Jory Erdman. So she was the director of architecture at LSU. So she was my boss. And honestly, I didn't even know she was listening to the podcast until I read this testimonial. So she said, I found this podcast by being connected to Jason on LinkedIn, and now I'm addicted. Each episode inspires me to do one or two small things to improve my business goals. I'm an architect, not an interior designer, but there is good advice for anyone in the design fields in the podcast. I highly recommend it, and I will be recommending it directly to all of my architectural students. Great job, team. So, I mean, that one, when I read that, and I was like, wow, Jory she's an inspiration to me. I look up to her. She's one of my mentors. And to have read that, I was just humbled and I was blown away. From all the support that we had from Charmaine and her group in Designer Masterclass, from Lindsay with Design Manager. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, and I'm not going to name a lot because I know I'm going to leave someone out. I do not want to do that. But to all of the listeners, supporters out there, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
This all started whenever Clubhouse came out, and it was invitation only. And it was this, maybe we can open up a room, get some people in there and just start talking about real design issues, having an opportunity to network amongst designers. And I am so grateful that we were able to put together enough decent content that we knew it had to be captured somewhere. And I am grateful that I got to participate with my friend Mirjam. And then she introduced me to Jason. And then Jason said, hey, let's make this into a podcast. And honestly, I don't think any of us up here were like, I cannot wait to hear myself rattle on about design on any kind of platform. I can tell you that right now. None of us are interested in hearing ourselves. None of us like our own voice. But instead, it was like, hey, we need to do this for the people that we like. And we genuinely like our listeners. And so we were like, all right, we're still going to do this. We're still going to show up. We're still going to put together the information. And more importantly, we're going to keep bringing in these really smart people that are teaching us so much more and helping kind of the whole industry to become better and do more. And how many opportunities do designers have to talk with someone who is a marketing specialist that just talks about how to do marketing for design and remodeling businesses? How many times do we have someone who is a public relations professional who is willing to work with interior designers to teach them how to do their own PR so that they can continue to have some success and traction in publications and getting their names out there? I mean, this is a very rare opportunity, and we are grateful that we've been able to capture it. And to all of the super important big business people out there who are willing to come onto our podcast to help support us through their knowledge as well.
In this place, we have to say thank you to Maria, because if it wasn't for her, really none of us would be here, because what really happened is that Maria reached out to me and said, you have to get your butt on Clubhouse now, and I said, oh my God, one more thing to do, and I said, well, okay, I guess I'll give it a try, and then I invited Jason. I said, Jason, you have to get your butt on Clubhouse, Maria is making us.
And at that time, I was not wanting to hear about another social media platform. And you tricked me into getting on the platform because you said Maria wanted to have me on to talk about marketing.
Yes, it worked. It totally worked. And I think this just goes to show that the power of networking and sort of going with the flow and finding people. I mean, we are an unlikely trio in reality. I don't think there's anything else out there like us, but we just clicked and we all have the same mindset, the same business philosophy, the same audience, with different specialties. So I don't know, it was meant to be.
You said about the odd pairing. That's so true. But I have to say, and I tell y'all this all the time, I love working with y'all. I love Mondays when we tape because it actually gets my week off to a great start. I tell Maria like she's my sister from another mister because we're always interrupting each other like we are brother and sister. And we always had that back and forth. And Mirjam, she's like the cousin from a whole nother country. Like, you hear about her, but then you meet her like, oh yeah, she's cool. So and we have a lot of fun here. You all don't hear about what we do ahead of taping or after taping, but we've had a lot of guests on that they just laugh and have fun. Like, y'all have a lot of fun here, and it is. And that's why I say I look forward to Mondays, just to taping, and I appreciate y'all. Y'all mean a lot to me, and this has been a great journey, and I look forward to more of this in years to come.
I think since we know we're helping people and that we're actually doing good every time we come here and that our motivation is just to help people. And ultimately, if we can positively impact a large group of people, that there's so much reward in that for each of us that we come to this motivated with the same reason for why we're doing it. And it really is genuinely something we enjoy, and we are having fun doing this. Mm-hmm. But more importantly, we love digging for those good nuggets. We want gold in each one of our episodes. We want that one thing that I know if I see someone else do it, that there's going to be a change in their business. And honestly, when we say stuff like, tag us, like we are in the picture, tag Designer Discussions and social media, and I will repost your videos. If you're putting the effort and the time into making the reels, let me show that to our audience to inspire them and get more people making those videos so that we can all be on the same level, all working harder and seeing that it's possible to have that growth, because we want to see y'all succeed, and we just love you guys so much. And it's been awesome to be here. And I cannot believe this was definitely not on a vision board. This was definitely not on a goals list for 2021. Neither was like a pandemic. But I mean, wow, I can't believe it. I can't believe what good came from just doing this. And honestly, none of us wanted to do it. None of us wanted to add another thing to our list. And it has been great. So maybe if something comes down the line for you as well in your business that maybe you don't want to do it, just try it. You might like it. It could be fun for you.
I agree. Just as long as you just stay open. And like we all did, and I totally agree. I'm like, podcast, none of this was on my vision board and on my goal list, but it's been so much fun, and I'm so appreciative. I love you guys so much because you guys are my team. Okay. Because I'm a solopreneur, right? And it's just so nice to have people to bounce things off and motivate me and hold me accountable for some of the things that I'm doing or have not been doing, but I promise I'll do better. But thank you guys so much. You guys are the best.
We have a lot planned for next year. There's a lot we have on the plate. And if you think we've done and had a whole lot of guests on to help you all grow your business this year, just wait till next year. We have a lot, and we're going to start right out with how to develop a plan for next year. And that's just going to lead into other things. We're going to have people all talking about video. We're going to have people talking about anything and everything under the sun. But we also want to hear from you. If you have any comments, if you have any suggestions, if you have any topics that you want us to cover, we want to know. Because one of the things that has happened when this all began in August and we were planning all this, we had our topics and we each had 10 topics that we were going to talk about. I have to honestly say only 2 of the 10 have we talked about so far. And honestly, it's because we were actually talking to our audience and to you, our listeners, to hear what you wanted to have us talk about. And a lot of the things we incorporated into the topic. So we want to continue to do that. We want to hear from you and provide the information that you want us to talk about.
And honestly, we've been using our Clubhouse room as a place to get that immediate feedback. We bring in the people who are talking, we hear from them, we see who gets the most questions, and we get as much feedback on, and then we know to bring those people onto the podcast. We probably will change how we're using Clubhouse in the future, just because the ability to get a bunch of people on at the same time each week is being reduced by people being more busy. So that may change for us, but what we don't want to stop is the communication with the people who are using this. So the best thing you can do is to communicate with us. Leave a review, ask for what you want to hear in our episodes. Let us know, because we will read the reviews, we will check, and we will see what it is that you want. And if you feel like you have have content that you want to bring to the audience as well, let us know. We want to hear from you. And the more we hear from you, the better this will make our show. Please leave us a review and mention something you want to hear more about. And we will work on putting together some new shows that have that content in there. Send these podcast episodes that are good to your friends. Let other people know that we exist. It helps us out. It helps us to produce more and better content. And subscribe to our show. Subscribe to Designer Discussions on whatever platform you're listening to it. That way you don't miss out on any of the great content we have coming for you.
Happy New Year's, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Designer Discussions. What was your takeaway? Care to share your thoughts and tag Jason, Maria, and Mirjam on social media? You can find them on all platforms at designerdiscussions.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review or comment for this episode from wherever you are listening.